Tommy has taught me that.
I need you to tell me. Remember? This is the communication program. If you don't tell me exactly what you want, I'm going to play that and then I was going to sleep it, but then I was like, they're not all I can do. If you get to it, this is the one I'm coming down to.
Good morning from Naseby, New Zealand, and the 2025 Australian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. I'm Perry Marshall, the Australian national coach with Thomas Bence, one of our aspiring junior athletes. Mixed doubles is a particular interest and specialty for Thomas, and his partner Kiara is over here as well too, but she won't come on the mic, so it'll just be Thomas and I talking curling this morning. Well, we can talk about Kira. But we're actually watching the game for third place, the right to move on to the semi-final against Team Westhagen Panusi. And our combatants today include Team Millikin with Carly Millikin and Hugh Millikin against Veronica Johns and Steve Johns. We're down to, I think, the last stone in this end, where Team Millikin looks like they've got a good setup on their end, perhaps attempting to score
four, I think.
Four with this draw. Looks like perhaps it just got to curl up a little bit, maybe. Just sit there, gonna hit that off and come off, so it looks like at least a score of 2, maybe 3. So a good end for Team Millikin to start this 3-4 final. And it looks like it's a count of 4. Oh, big 4 for the Millikin team. Well, Thomas, the event has ended for you, or on the during the preliminary matches. How did you find this event for yourself, and how did you and your partner do?
It was good. We found the ice was very tricky on some sheets. We got one win, and then we lost a 3-way tie out with our LSD.
So there's 2 parts to the game, right?
Yes.
In a competition like this, not only how many games you win, where you place, but how well you can do your last stone draw totals in each of the games prior to each game.
Indeed.
And that's a skill in itself, right?
Yeah.
Super. So second end action now will start, and Carly will lead off as Team Millikin scored. So the hammer flips, and Team Johns has the hammer in this end. The hammer, for those who are sort of new to curling, is the last stone advantage in an end. It is the defining factor of one of the things in curling, that you have the last stone and the ability to be able to score the ultimate last point, or more points, as it was the attempt there by Carly to go from perhaps 3 to 4, or at least solidify the 4 that she was trying to get. So it looks like it's got to curl up a little bit. The optimal place there, Thomas, for that rock would have been where?
Either frozen or top 4 on the center line.
Yeah, or own the center line, and own the ahead of the tee, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to come up a little short, but it's again, it's on the path to there, so that's a good spot for that rock. Veronica Johns with her first shot here in this end. On the clockwise side for her is a right-handed thrower. Looks like this is going to over curl and be a little bit light. Veronica and Steve were in our pool, and I'm not sure how much curling Veronica gets in, but she looked like she had an impressive event and got better as the event went on, for sure. Most of all, I've loved her smile. She's had a smile all the time she's been out there. And curling with your parent is never easy. I'll make no comments about Steve, but...
No. He's delightful.
Well, both father-daughter pairs here, that's what we have in this game. They seem to have worked all well together. Hugh with his first in here in the second end. Trying to go just before the tee line and own the center line if he can. This looks like a really good shot. Great, and he'll sit in shot rock position.
Steve and Veronica will be looking to come in the same way and just tap the rock that Hugh just threw. Just creates space and a way in.
Yeah. Try and get as much of that rock as they can so that they kind of own that space close to the center line as well too. What's the tolerance on that shot, Thomas?
Heavy. You just want to make contact, I guess.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of things. A freeze is good.
Yeah.
Because again, you're setting it up for a second shot, and Team Millikin will not be able to avoid that.
Yes.
If you are a little bit heavy, you risk not hitting it at all and
Yes.
potentially hitting the red one. Or if you get like maybe a quarter of that rock, you're going to spin out, and then obviously the yellow can draw down in again.
Yes.
So if you're going to be anything, it's probably on the light side.
Okay. Yeah.
Steve taking a different approach to this. Is going to use red onto yellow, or try and get through that hole.
Just over curling, it's going to be through the hole or on the yellow guard. And he peels both guards and sticks around.
Again, good option. Open up that front a little bit, move the two away from there, exchange 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Exposes the shot rock on the top of the 4, which now Hugh has to put a guard on to be able to cover that up. For those who didn't watch the games yesterday, a wild ride for Team Millikin to get to this final against Team Gallagher Gagnon. Back and forth, threes, twos, fives.
All the scores.
Yeah, and eventually an extra end win for Team Millikin against a comeback win, actually. At the 4th end break, they were down a few points for sure. Big comeback, whereas Team Johns had a pretty straightforward game in their qualifier game against Team Robbins Francie, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that one ended up 9-1 or 9-2.
Hugh is just drawing down onto the yellow rock, or he's just come heavy on the guard.
That's a little bit ahead of the one at the top of the 8 foot.
Yes.
Probably just enough weight to move it back to the back 8. Create a little angle and a little separation with that yellow that's on the top of the 4 foot.
Yeah.
And the yellow that's actually touching the button. Again, Steve, the traditional thrower, still lifts the rock, puts the rock in place, whereas a lot of other throwers that people will see, have the no lift method.
Yep.
Again, trying to get as much of this as he can. That's a decent shot. Perhaps down weight a little bit.
Create space, and now Huey's going to look to block up that space.
Yes. So how many trips is this to Naseby for you, Thomas, now?
1, 2, I think the 4th.
You're 4. Okay. Well, you're 2 more than me. This is 2 for me, and it's completely enjoyable.
Yeah.
Love this little town.
It's a lovely little town.
With some great people living here who also obviously work in some of the businesses around this community. Got a chance to stop in at the cafe, pick up the morning tasty treat. Thank you to the Black Forest Cafe, continuing to feed us. Considering that the pub unfortunately is not open.
Yes. It's been closed for the week. It was.
Yeah. It was open last week. A guard, but a small port. Is that port small enough to be able to get a rock through at the top and at the 4-foot?
Yeah. They'd have to throw a lot of weight to get it through both ports.
Thomas, I think your eyes would light up like Christmas trees for that. That would be your kind of shot, wouldn't it?
I'd like to play it.
And if he can get through the port, if he catches a little bit of the red, he could get a veer yellow in. So
even catching a little bit of the yellow rocks.
Yeah, I think as long as he gets, they're looking to potentially run the red in. I think the risk of running the red in is that he hits that about a third and gets it nose on the red, and he's going to be sitting in exactly the same place. Obviously, without the red being there.
Yeah.
That would open it up, but I think Team Millikin would just close that down. So if you can get through that port and get some of the red, or straight through to the yellow, you'd be in a better spot. And for Team John's second end, you want to make up 1 or 2 of the points that you gave away in that first end. A bit of an angle run back for Team Johns. Is it going to curl up enough? Is it going to stay wide?
So it's only going to get about a third, quarter.
Third to a quarter. Didn't get enough of it. I thought that was a bit of the risk.
Yeah.
Those angle run backs are always harder than the ones right down in the middle line.
Yes.
Because you got to factor in some curl on the ice a little bit different than what tends to happen right down the center line.
Yeah.
It's usually less ice than you think. And again, depending how the ice maker has done the ice, a lot of times there's little shelves right from the 4-foot out and the middle of the 8-foot, the 8-foot out. So sometimes the rock will run right on those shelves.
Yeah.
And that kind of just represents where the scrape hole goes.
Yes. previous tournaments, it has tended to be a bit straighter on the left side going away on this sheet. So
Carly Millikin with the last Team Millikin shot here in the second end. Probably looking just for a guard. Take away the path that Team Johns could have to the 4 foot. It's looking a little heavy.
just get a little bump on the yellow.
A little bump. Still not maybe sitting second shot now with the movement of that red one in the back.
Yep.
A little perplexing now for Team Johns. Perhaps a tap
Yeah.
going across the face. Oh, it is second shot. Thanks. Well, Brad has a really good overhead that we get a chance to look at, and that is the second shot, the yellow.
I think they'll be looking to tap their red into shot position
Yeah.
just onto the button.
Pretty much has to go right across the face of it and catch maybe the bottom third.
Yeah.
The weight will be key on this, as much as the line.
Yeah.
What do you think for weight, Thomas?
Probably back 4.
Yeah, back 4 for sure. Like full
Okay.
back 4.
Yeah.
Like a heavy draw.
They seem to be taking a lot of ice for anything heavier.
This has got a lot of curling to do.
Yep.
Steve's going to try and help it, but I think it's going to get a lot of yellow. Yeah. The weight was a bit on the heavy side, and it's going to go through that port and actually create a score of 4. I would think 4. Nope, score of 2. Didn't move the back
Yeah.
red, so yeah.
So steal of 2 yellow for that end.
And a big 6-0 lead for Team Millikin as they finish the second end. So for those who are not familiar with this discipline, it's pretty fast-paced, right, Thomas? I mean, there's not a lot of
Not a lot of
Time
time to do anything.
in between ends as well, too.
Yep. They've got 90 seconds to set the house up at the other end.
Yep. And they're going to put out the set stones. In this particular case, we'll see if Team Johns decides they want to use their power play a bit early, try and get back into the game, or whether they'll use the standard set stone position, which is what they appear they're going to do.
So the team with hammer puts their rock at the just by the back of the 4 foot, and the team without hammer will have a center guard set up.
Correct. And there are 6 different positions for those stones, and right now it's in position number 2. It has been for the entire week. Usually that position is determined by how much curl the ice maker and the chief umpire believe exists on the ice,
Yeah.
and the ability to be able to use that stone effectively. And again, big shout out to Reese and his team from Curling New Zealand and the Maniatoto curling facility here that have really provided some quality ice for us for the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks now. We're here with the men's and women's first, and now the mixed doubles championship. Opening rock from Carly, trying to freeze down, maybe just a touch heavy, right?
Yep.
Pushing the red one back, and Veronica will be asked to put another one in that 4 foot area, try and create a bit of an angle too.
Yeah. Just coming up a touch light on that draw.
Hugh quickly away, seizing the opportunity to come around and put another one into the 4-foot area. See if I can get my watch out here. My phone stopwatch. Handy dandy. That one comes up top 4, good spot. Just in front. Again, blocks that path. Something that they're going to have to deal with. What's your shot call, Thomas?
Coming in the same way and just trying to get to the inside of that yellow rock that Hugh just threw.
Yeah, tap it back, come towards the center line, push that yellow rock sort of back to the back 8.
Yep.
Hit it about a third low, right?
Yes. Just rolling under the guards.
But Steve, of course, is not going to do that conventionally. He's going to come down and draw down on the one in the back.
Yep.
See if he can get it by. Looks like it's going to come up a
overcurl.
little bit light, over curl a bit. Promoter rock, the red one.
Yep. Now setting 4th shot.
It's opportunity for Hugh and Carly now to potentially solidify that one yellow rock that they already put up there. Let's see if we can get a hog-to-hog split. So the hog lines are the 2 red lines you see on your screen. The near hog line is when the rock has to be delivered by. The far hog line is where the field, the house is incorporated. So anything beyond that is in play until the back line.
Hugh guarding that yellow rock in the 4-foot. Steve and Veronica will be looking to probably tap up their guard.
Yep, needs something good to happen. And you can see he's looking to try and hit that rock, not quite at the nose. Promote it into the red circles, right to the button. And at least be positioned for 1 and have, again, the same shot back. You know, as you're playing this game, right, Thomas, you really have to look forward
Yes.
to what shots not only you can make, but what your opponent will likely do.
Yes.
So this is an important shot for... Ooh. A little bit of an unbalanced slide for Steve, but he
Recovered well.
covered well.
Looks like the rock is starting to curve very early here.
Not his best slide, and obviously not his best release. Maintaining that balanced position out of the hack is not always the easiest thing to do, Thomas,
No.
right?
No, it's can be hard sometimes.
And it's all about timing, right?
Yeah.
Hugh with his last shot here in the 3rd end, looking to put up a guard to take away that red raise.
Yeah.
Making it very challenging for Team Johns to score. Might overcurl a little bit, but probably enough that makes the raise way harder.
Yes.
So Steve sees the possibility of perhaps hitting half that yellow rock
Yeah.
and or as much as he can see, putting red onto, yellow onto red, and then moving that in towards the center.
Yep. It looks like if you do hit half of it, it might catch the back yellow and they'll
Yep.
stick around.
Yep. If they get that back yellow one out, though, they may not sit 2. They would only sit 1.
Yes.
But it's at least better than what they're doing right now, which is not shot. In fact, they are 3rd shot. That red behind the 4-foot is 3rd shot.
Also, with this shot, looking to create an opening to potentially hit out the yellow that is 2nd shot at the moment.
Creating options for the next shot. Looks like it's curling up. Is it curling up enough?
Yep.
And does it have enough weight? Oh, a little unfortunate. Perhaps that rock created a little bit of what we call drag, and the drag effect will cause that angle to go in a direction that's opposite to the way that it looks.
Yeah.
So although that it looked like it may have gone back towards the yellow, it actually went the opposite direction. So they were probably closer together.
Yep. And what distance between the rocks would we be looking at for that?
Well, if it's right up against each other, then the drag effect is at its maximum. If it's probably within 2 to 4 centimeters, you're probably still going to get the drag effect. Once you kind of get beyond that, I'm kind of converting inches here.
Yes.
If you're more than that sort of 2-3 inches, the drag it's minimized.
Yeah.
I should think it's probably like a lower weight shot, not a big hit. Yeah. Is there anything else? I don't see anything else.
And we have Carly's last shot. I think she'll be looking to guard up that opening that Steve created in his last shot.
Anything that takes away that path. That looks like a good shot from Carly to remove the path. And 2 options, obviously, here for Team Johns. Potentially red, raise into the 4-foot, or maybe try and catch a piece of that 2nd shot, try and angle off. Or they could have tried the draw all the way around and try and go back to the back yellow and red.
Yep.
That may be not a path that they would know and a path that they were comfortable with. I don't know, can they see about half that rock, you think, Thomas?
Yep, about half, maybe just less than a half.
Which means they're going to need to be just literally scraped by the guard. Well,
Looks like they're playing a bit of weight at this.
I would say a lot of weight.
Yep.
She's got to try and look at it's just falling out a bit. It's probably just, if it's going to get it at all. Just missed it. Didn't necessarily change the outcome, which was 2 for Millikin, but a good attempt by Veronica. But Team Johns needs something good to happen now.
Yep.
Down another 2 points.
We need to score here.
8-0 is the current score. And now perhaps Team Johns will consider using their power play here. needing a score and a good result before they go into the break.
Yeah.
Steve and Hugh still laughing away, longtime teammates in men's. And another men's championship for Hugh and Steve. It's part of their team with Tanner Davis and Matt Panuzzi. Congratulations to them again. Obviously for Carly and Hugh, the goal here is not to play too defensive. Keep the pressure on by putting rocks in the 4-foot area, but be very smart about how those rocks accumulate and the angles that are there. Because one shot can change things up pretty quickly.
Yes.
Good start here for Carly.
Veronica will be drawing in the other way.
Again, I think a bit of a missed opportunity for Team Johns here not to use their power play. But it's not surprising for teams that don't play a lot of mixed doubles that they're not 100% comfortable with the power play and the strategies that are there.
I think the discussion between teams has been that it's been difficult for some teams to convert the power play.
Yep. Again, it needs some thought about how to be able to use it as the offensive strategy it's been designed for, and react to different things that your opponents do.
Yep.
But it was designed to promote scoring.
Yes.
This has got some curling to do, leaving a bit of an open door here for Team Johns, because that's not going to curl up. So perhaps an opportunity for Team Johns to come into the top of the 4-foot area. Team Johns potentially sitting 1.
I think it is
2. Yeah.
Or 1. No, 1.
Probably one for sure.
Yeah, I think the set stone is third shot.
Third shot.
Yeah. And is Steve going to look to come in on the side that they've been coming in, or the other side?
He obviously can't come into the back one, because then there's Team Millikin will just draw right down, right? So probably the optimal space here is just sort of angle. If you could create a bit of an angle at the top of the 4-foot.
Yep.
If you could create that angle on the Yellowstone, that would be great.
Yep.
I think it looks like it's going to overcurl a bit. And be a bit light. So a bit of a missed opportunity there for Steve Johns. The tolerance was probably a little bit heavy.
Yes.
Not necessarily to be light.
Really wanted to make sure they were getting down into the
Yeah. And we talk about tolerance, Thomas. It's really a function of 1 foot, 2 foot heavier in weight, over curling by or under curling by a quarter rock or half a rock.
Yeah.
In this discipline, the precision is really important.
Yeah.
But you're never going to make 100% of your shots 100% of the time, 100% of the way you want to. And this one sitting out there as well too might go all the way past.
Well.
He was probably looking to promote that top yellow into the rings and was a little wide. So again, Steve looking to figure out how does he get down into that space. Does he tap that? And how far do they tap it? Yeah, if he taps it back as to the sort of back of the button, on more on the left-hand side, then at least he has an angle that it's going to jam on the back one over there.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go quite that far, then there's a possibility that a rock could be promoted and the two reds could go.
Yes.
So the weight here is really important. You would really probably like to leave that red one around too, somewhere close to the 4 foot, that maybe it becomes an in-off, you know, to score a third point, maybe even a fourth point. This is all about the weight now.
Both Steve and Veronica sweeping.
This is curling up. Actually over curling, but he's probably going to get what he wanted before. Bit of an angle that takes away that that direct angle raise that he was looking at on his last shot. Gives him something that he might be able to tap back on the next one. If he gets, again, about a third of the rock, quarter of the rock over towards the yellow.
Don't need to move the yellow very far.
He was looking for a similar shot to the last one. See if he doesn't get as wide this time. This one looks like it's curling up.
It's curled a bit still.
He's got to come up a bit more. He's only going to get maybe a quarter rock. But a beautiful quarter.
Straight through the gap. Just hit shot rock.
Big smile from Hugh. He knows that one was a good one. And he almost excused me that I did what I planned.
Yes.
A challenge for Team Johns. How do we remove that yellow rock? Your ideas, Thomas? What do you think?
Pick it out on the right side. You throw. Looks like it'll.
You can actually probably get both yellows.
It looks close.
You can certainly move that other yellow.
Yeah.
Right? Stay 2. Move that. That's what he's seeing. He'd probably clip the backside of that other yellow on the button on the 4 foot.
Yep.
He has to get if he could hit what he can see with a decent weight, it'll all move. The shooter won't stay around, but the red might stay enough to be able to count 3. Oh, there's another one of those slides that need a little repair. Is he going to get any of it? Nope. Yep. Just missed it. Yep, another one where he knows that he didn't slide really well. And unfortunately with that delivery, when you come back down, and you don't put the rock down in the right place and you wobble, then the rock is not on the line.
Yes.
Right? And so you're adjusting as you're sliding,
Yeah.
trying to do it. So if you kind of change that up with the flat foot delivery or the no lift delivery, you still get those wobbles, but they're not necessarily as big.
Yeah. Carly and Hugh will be looking to guard the shot that Steve just played.
Take that shot away and leave a different Hail Mary for Team Johns. Trying to put this rock on that path. Might be over curling. Just good enough, I think. Yep.
Do you think the angled run on the red is there to get both the yellows out? Or is it?
Well, he almost has to angle it and come like literally across the top of it.
Yeah.
Because if he hits anything from nose, or on anything on the left side, it's just going to go back into red.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to move that yellow. If you straight run back of the red onto the yellow that he's pointing right now, probably doesn't eliminate the yellow that's on the button.
Yeah.
Because it's going to butt right back into that red. There's lots of that hitting.
Yeah.
She'd have to throw that really hard to do that. But if she could, again, angle that run back, hit it about almost exactly where Steve's putting his broom.
Into the other red.
Across the top of it.
Yeah.
Then it'll angle back into the two of them and might get that yellow off, at least off the button, enough that the one will score. Maybe two. It is a game of angles. Veronica John's last shot here in the fourth inning, looking for something good to happen. Looks like that's a little narrow out of the hand. Is there any plan B that gets through the port? Almost.
On the way through.
It was possible if it got through the port. But it does look like we've got one yellow here. And we'll go into the break with a 9-0 lead for Team Millikin. Is there a huge comeback in Team Johns in the back half of the game? We've seen that before in this discipline. But
anything's possible.
We'll take a quick break and be back here in probably 2 or 3 minutes. Welcome back. We are in the back half of the 3-4 game from the 2025 Mixed Doubles National Championship for Australia here in beautiful Naseby, New Zealand. Perry Marshall with Thomas Bentz. Enjoying, well, what's been pretty dominant performance so far from Team Millikin. And Team John's looking to turn it around using their power play in the fifth end. Power play instituted as an opportunity to change the dynamics of the normal position of the stones, but also promote scoring.
Carly here looking to draw onto the red rock in the house.
Yeah, and so what's the theory behind that, Thomas?
Freeze on the red, it cuts the scoring area down, makes it hard for you to get rid of the...
Exactly. If the team with the power play always has the ability to use the 4-foot and the button as the ultimate scoring area, if you close down that area on the side, you eliminate that rock as the second potential scored stone. That one, great weight, a little too much line.
Yeah.
So now, for Team Johns, they may choose to ignore that rock completely.
Yeah.
And draw down into that space. Or again, use that rock in a way that they might freeze up against it as well too. Veronica on a similar line to Carly's shot. So for those who weren't with us early, the two teams, two father-daughter combinations, Team Millikin with Hugh Millikin and Carly Millikin, and Team Johns with Steve Johns and Veronica Johns. So Hugh has to leave those rocks in play until the next stone, the fourth thrown stone. This is only the third thrown stone.
So Steve will be able to get those stones on his next shot.
Or certainly reposition them and not have any risk of them going out. That's okay.
Yes.
But right now for Team John's, rocks in play are probably their friends. So he'll actively work to try and reposition some of these stones.
Will be just a little nose bump here.
Well, it looks like with that line call, he's going to throw a little bit more weight at it. So try and leave that red, move that yellow.
Move the other yellow too.
Yeah, the risk of throwing too much weight, though, is he loses his red.
Yes.
So trying to keep that red around. He'll probably try and get as much as he can of that rock so that maybe just rolls in behind the corner guard.
Yeah.
He can see if he can have at least 3 red rocks remaining in play. This is probably a pretty controlled weight. Maybe come right up to the nose. That's a really good shot. Really good shot. Moves the red, almost frozen to the set stone. Isolates the yellow. And now if you're Team Millikin, it's a matter of eliminating red stones.
Yes.
The more you eliminate, the less that can score.
Yeah.
Pretty much an open hit on the red. Again, sticking around, staying in the house is a good thing for the Millikin team on this particular shot. And he's going to go over the top, or sorry, underneath.
Catching it off a little thin here.
So now an opportunity for Team Johns to hit and roll and get in behind that guard. Move everything over there.
Keep the scoring area open.
And try and bring as many of those rocks in behind that guard an opportunity to score.
Yeah.
So probably a similar weight to the last one, which he threw, a good weight to be able to keep the rock in play. And if you can roll over in front of the red, just touching the 8 foot on the left-hand side of your screen. Second shot for Steve in this end. Looks like it's going to curl up just a little bit.
Just off nose. Sit around.
So an opportunity now potentially for Team Millikin to remove 2 or 3 of those rocks with the right angle. Perhaps a little bit high to try and double it on the in-turn side, or the clockwise turn side.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit easier on the out-turn side to hit a third of the rock on one side, removing perhaps the 2 underneath the guard. That's essentially what he was pointing out to Carly right now. Bit on the thick side. So we're going to hit it on the nose.
Steve and Veronica will attempt to roll back under the barrel.
Well, not necessarily so. What look at the rock position now. What's first, second, and third shot? Red, yellow. So drawing down into there, they could get 3. They could be 3, or they sit open in 3. If you
draw under, then there's a double to sit 4.
Yeah, if you really want to get 4,
Yeah.
and close up that score,
You've got to.
I think you got to draw underneath that guard again, and try and get third shot that way. Yes, you leave yourself exposed to a yellow slash.
Yeah.
But or a yellow come around. But the yellow come around, again, have to be perfect, right?
It still runs into the double.
But if you really thought you needed to go score 4, which they really do, they need to get 3 for sure or more. So last stone for Steve Johns in the 5th end. And he's drawing to the open side. Again, not a bad call. Good way to get 3. Because you really just need to be sitting the third shot.
Yeah.
But when you're 9-0 down and you need lots of points.
Yeah.
For Carly and Hugh, it's just going to be eliminating the one rock that was just thrown.
Yeah.
There, staying in play and making them hit it.
Yeah.
Which isn't always easy to hit and stick. But you'll win a lot of curling games if you can hit and stick. And you can draw the 8 foot. Because if you draw the 8 foot, you can actually draw the button.
Yeah.
With sweeping. Charlie, last shot here in the fifth end, just looking to remove the red rock. She got a piece, or is she wide?
Need to curl.
Ah, well, sometimes your fours come in interesting ways. Open draw now for Team Johns to score 4 and get back into this game. And a pretty well-positioned shot by Steve and Veronica just outside there. So he changes the path.
Yep. They have
That somebody has to throw their hit.
Yep.
Makes it a little bit harder. You have to slide a little bit wider. You have to set it just right.
Yep.
Final shot for Veronica Johns, looking to just hit the 8 foot. Trying to score a 4th point. Now Steve is working hard at this. Veronica's going to jump in. Oh, missed. A missed opportunity, unfortunately.
3 red.
There you go, a couple of misses here at the end, but we still have a score of 3 for Team Jones. So the score goes to 9-3 here after 5 ends. 3 ends to go, and Team Millikin will have the hammer. It appears that Team Millikin is considering using their power play in the 6th end.
Making sure that they score here.
Exactly. You have the advantage of the hammer and the power play. It should allow you to be able to score 1. Again, lengthen the scoreboard out. Even if you score 1, you're up 7.
Yeah.
With 2 ends to play, that's a big hill to climb. With no power play left.
Yes.
And only potentially 1 hammer.
Yeah.
So Team Millikin sets up their power play on the left-hand side of the sheet as we're looking at it. Again, a little different line than the one that was before. And Team Johns will probably not deploy a strategy to freeze down in there. They'll deploy a strategy to go all in to steal.
Either top 4 or guarding here.
Yeah, this one's going to overcurl a little bit. Certainly another strategy that we frequently see more from the European teams than the North American teams that we have a name for it. We call it the choke. And the choke is if that rock that she just threw was actually kind of on that path to the to the set stone, the yellow set stone, but left in the top of the house.
Yeah.
Not on the top of the house, but just outside, maybe 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah.
That just kind of narrows again the scoring area.
Yeah.
So that one that Veronica chose is just a little deep. This one's not going to go around, and it's probably going to sit on top of the red. Even probably tap it back a little bit. And so now you can see how the scoring area is now shrunk down if Steve goes in behind those 2.
Yeah.
So if you're Team Johns, you're all into steel, right?
Yeah.
You'll probably leave more rocks in play, and you'll
More stuff up front.
stuff up front, and just try and find your way to steal as many points as you possibly can.
here.
Looks like he's got a good weight. Just got to curl up a bit. Weight was fantastic. Line a little wide. Yeah, it's fully exposed. And, I'm sure that Hugh will see that as a big red target.
Yes. As it is the fourth rock of the end, Hugh is able to hit it. And he will.
Hit me.
Would they be looking to hit roll away or under the guards here?
Yeah, I think, again, the roll would be great. But again, if you give something to potentially freeze up to, like if now it gives something Steve to freeze to the corner of. So you're almost better to hit and roll further.
Yes.
Right? Because Team Johns is looking for anything that they can to score, right?
Yeah.
So he could make a similar shot to the last time and go all the way around, because that would be a hard shot to do.
Yes.
But he's got a small area to get to. He's got to get to really the back of the button there, the back of the forefoot, to be able to score. That would leave an opportunity, even at the last rock, for Carly to score by getting to the button.
Yep.
I think he's considering bumping yellow onto red and moving red towards the side. That's only going to create more stuff out front, which is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because Hugh would have to clear that out.
Yeah.
So I need to disturb it.
I think his first idea of kind of coming down a similar path and taking, a chance to go around to the back, or even just freezing to the one that Hugh just rolled into that place. I think he's opting to split up that stuff and kind of leave more junk out front.
Yeah.
And not a bad strategy. A little wide, I think. And he threw enough weight at it that's not going to help him.
To get a little piece of this yellow.
Yeah, I think he was wide to the shot that he called.
Yeah.
And if you're Hugh, the danger rocks are the two that are left on top.
Yeah.
However, if he does put one sort of at the top of the forefoot or on the center line in the 8 foot, accomplishes the same goal. He just makes that scoring area small, but he only needs to score one.
Yeah. Blocks the path for Steve and V to get in to shot rock position.
So a bit of a precise shot here. Doesn't want to go too heavy. If he goes too heavy, gives something that Johns could freeze down to. Pretty good weight there. Didn't curl up quite as much as I think he wanted. Giving an opportunity, I think, for hit and roll. Sort of a bit of a double. But again, enough to move red in behind those two corners, which those two ones at the top of the 12 foot.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I liked the possibility that he hit that, but maybe hit that on the side.
Yeah.
Open it right up, because those were the two rocks that
Yes.
that obviously Team Johns is going to use to try and steal a point or two in this end. last shot for Team Johns in the sixth end.
Second last.
Well, for Steve.
For Steve, yes.
For Steve is last. Not the last shot for the team, but certainly the last shot for Steve. So.
Cut. No, you move it that way. That way.
Clockwise turn, trying to hit where pretty much where Veronica's broom is.
And wanting to stick around under those two rocks in the top 8 foot.
There you go.
Wonderful shot.
Well executed shot. So now Hugh's going to deal with these two rocks.
Yes.
My opinion, one shot too late,
Yep.
but still the right thing to do. Because it probably takes away the multiple points deal.
Yep.
And we'll leave it at least a couple of options for Carly on her last one to get rid of that red rock. So all she has to do is eliminate the red rock.
Yep.
Pretty sure with what weight Hugh will throw here is that red that's sitting on the top of the 8 foot is going to be gone.
Yes.
Can't hit this too low. He needs to hit it more on the high side.
Yep. Wanting to spin that.
There you go. Yep. And
Where do you think the best spot? to put
well, I
the
think
rock is here?
Steve is right here. You know, again, needing to steal points, you take more risk.
Yep.
You know, normally you probably just put up a guard, right? And
Yeah.
try and eliminate as much of that yellow raise, the short run back there as you can. If you come into the house and you even get a little bit tucked behind, they may be able to pick the top one,
Yeah.
but they won't get the one behind. If you freeze it to the corner of it, then they might not be able to get both of them.
Yeah.
Right, so as much up on the rock as they can. And again, the alternative is if she is short altogether, then that will be a guard,
Yeah.
right?
And it's still helping them.
This looks like it's might even if the corner freezes on the yellow, it's not going to be
Yes.
just right there.
Making sure it overlaps, and it does.
So if it would have come over a little bit more, it would make the shot harder for Carly. But all Carly really has to do now is get, a full third of that rock.
Yeah.
That would promote it onto red. They would score 2. And it's possible we might have handshakes.
Okay.
Or, as we also say in curling, hear the Velcro. Which
As
is
the glove comes
as
off.
the glove comes off. The risk here for Team Millikin is that if they get a little too tight, they clip that red. They could clip that red into second shot.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be horrible if they gave up a steal of 1 because they'd still be up 5.
Yeah.
But it's really not what you want to do
No.
with your power play and in an even end too. So pretty straightforward shot for Carly. Just focus on hitting what she can see of that yellow.
Yep.
Use giving the line.
Tolerance here is on the wide side. Only need to hit about.
Yeah, the tolerance is on the wide side. Certainly not on the narrow side.
No.
Looks like it could be. Here it comes up.
It's got a bit to move.
Looks like it's got what it needs. There you go.
Perfect.
And stays around for 3. And it's handshakes. So we've got a final score of 12-3 in the 3-4 game. It means that Team Millikin moves on to the semifinal game this afternoon against Team West Hagen Panusi. That game is 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
So you'll get someone else other than us,
Yes.
probably, being Ganassi for that game. But hope you enjoyed this. And Thomas, thanks.
Thank you, Perry.
Thanks for talking curling and a few shots. And Brad, thanks as well for the production. And we'll see you all again at 2 o'clock this afternoon for the semifinal from Naseby, the 2025 Australian Mixed Doubles National Championships. Signing off.